Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, the Dolphins shut out the Jets at home to sweep the season series. The Heat have won 3 of their last 4 games to improve in the East, and the Panthers are not enjoying their latest Canadian tour. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! Damn, dog, the weather dropped 6 degrees and everybody brings out the jackets. I got the long pants on. My dog's rocking the throwback Dolphins.
I'm out here, dog. You know what?
Swaggy.
I just got a round of golfing and I didn't take this. I should have won this for the round of golf.
It might have lowered your score too.
Maybe not. Who knows? That's to be debated. But you know, I still feel like I needed to wear it, so I put it on for the show.
Absolutely, man, and especially after this bounce back victory that we saw from the Dolphins, it's a good reason to wear it tonight. Absolutely, for sure.
Dog, absolutely.
And we broke it down and we recapped it on OnlyFans. Shout out to Rax. If you haven't watched it already, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel right now. Hit the like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think. And thanks to the guys who continue to drop comments. We see y'all, man, for sure. And in that 30-0 shutout victory for the Dolphins, there were a lot of things that looked really good on TV, but what we walked away with, as far as at least I think what we walked away with was a realization that this coaching staff can turn the page over, can bounce back, find different ways to win. And 2, that this defense is really hitting its stride and is really delivering on the promise that they put up earlier in the season when we got Fangio and we got all these pieces on this defense.
They've gotten better, man. They've gotten better, and we've lost a couple pieces along the way. You know,
important pieces.
Jalen Phillips was a big piece. He was having a monster year. Jerome Baker, who's not out completely. Depending how deep we can make a run, we may see Jerome Baker again at some point. But we're staying consistent on defense, man. As far as the scheme goes, who we're bringing in, the D line is really stepping up. Chubb, man, Brad Chubb. Huge game. Probably best game he's had in a Dolphins uniform. Would you agree?
Absolutely. 3.5 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. Come on, Doug. And you know what? As a matter of fact,
the strip fumble, the forced fumble.
The strip fumble, excuse me.
And then didn't he have a fumble recovery as well, maybe?
He did. But this is what I got. Shout out to Delphin, man. Bradley Chubb, 94.0 rating, right, from week 15 was the highest of his 6-year career. Also already set career high in pressures and has defended the run better than any of his previous seasons as well.
Love that.
Currently, some people would say he's the MVP of this defense. And the only competition would have been, or a guy who for sure would have nailed it down more than him, would have been Jalen Phillips, because that kid was on a Pro Bowl type year, like top 3 defensive ends this year. Just with the consistency that kid was playing with. And Chubb was mirroring that, and now he's continued to do it even in Phillips' absence. What I like, Joel, is that, when we got Chubb and he didn't necessarily pop off on the screen, right, with the plays that he was making or the effort that he was giving, it kind of set the table for him to come back this year and really show everybody what he can do in this Fangio defense. Mm-hmm. Now you can tell he's back to his normal self. The fact that he's having a career year, in his 6-year career, shows you how determined he was to have a really good year this year under this defensive coach. And it's been a concentrated effort on this defense, even with guys missing. We didn't have Holland this game, right? He's still missing. Xavier Howard missed this game. We mentioned Baker, who's a big part of this defense. We are still seeing these guys excel on the field. Sealer, amazing play, right? And he's been doing it pretty much all year. Wilkins, we mentioned it on OnlyFans. If Wilkins was your 4th best defensive lineman, your D-line had a hell of a day, right? These are things that, like I said, were promised or we thought about this defense could achieve, and now they're achieving it week in, week out. And people might point and say, well, it's the Jets. They can't really move the ball and stuff. Yeah, but you know what? It's still the NFL. You still have to go out there and defend passes. You still have to go out there and tackle. You still have to go out there and stop teams. And the Dolphins did that. And if they weren't doing that, guess what? Against this depleted offense that the Jets have, we'd be chastising them for not doing it.
That's for damn sure.
Right?
Yeah, but you know what? We can't just highlight. I mean, we always do, and it's because they're playing at a great level and consistently, you know, all those guys that we keep mentioning. But, you know, in our secondary, you know, you talked about a couple guys that were missing, Holland and, you know, for this last one, Xavier Howard. Guys like Eli Apple, you know,
stepping up.
Nick Needham, Kader Kohu, you know, these guys are stepping up, bro. You know, I'm seeing them making low key like some big plays. We know what Jalen Ramsey's going to do. We know that he's our best, you know, corner, and he's going to shut down whoever he's on. But, you know, it's important to make sure that you're making plays, you know, whenever the ball's coming to you. We're seeing these guys with this kind of passion, bro. It's kind of, at least this game, it's, like I said it on the show, the defense played like they had a chip on their shoulder. You know, you can tell that they were really, you know, upset about the outcome of that Titans game, and they played to the last whistle in this game. Every single player on that defense. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that's the energy that those guys are playing with, right? The pick me up, I'll pick you up, and we'll pick each other up.
Right.
Because even guys like Duke Riley, who's stepping in, right? He had 5 tackles yesterday. Eli Apple, you mentioned him. He had 4 tackles with a pass deflected. Elijah Campbell had a pass affected with 4 tackles.
Another one.
You know what I mean? Like, we're getting these guys who may not be big names, but when they're called upon, they're able to make the play. And that's the difference, Joel, that we're seeing right now from last year. Last year, the guys that were stepping in couldn't step up. This year, the guys who are stepping in can definitely step up, and we're seeing it week to week. Because we had that meltdown against the Titans, but overall, this defense has been really good. And for it to jump up from 9th overall defense to 5th overall defense in 1 week, considering the performance that the Bills put up, right, against the Cowboys. We saw Baltimore's defense snuff out that win on Sunday Night Football. Like, there are good defenses out there. 49ers are another great defense, right?
Yeah, but even the Cardinals put up points. The Cowboys put up points. You know, we shut out the Jets. That's going to help you statistically when you get a shutout.
Absolutely. And the way that we did it in a dominating performance, right? What was it, 5 sacks at the half, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, that just shows you how much we were dominating.
We held them to 100 yards or so overall.
Right. Yeah, like 4 yards in the first half. Like, we dominated these dudes. And now if we flip it to the offense, right, the other biggest expectation was, how are we going to see McDaniel respond? And we saw a real commitment to the running game, Joel.
Yeah, for sure.
We saw a real commitment to the running game. And even though Mostert's yardage wasn't up there, he was running hard, and it forced the Jets to stay humble, stay packing that box, stay with 7 to 8 guys in that box, which allows us to find better opportunities downfield, right? If we're talking about how the offense operated, yes, we had 3 and outs. Those things are going to happen. But the commitment to getting first downs in short yardage plays, right? It wasn't 3rd down and 4 and then we're throwing bombs or 20-yard passes. No, it was 3rd down and 5 and we're hitting a little out. We're hitting a little curl or something like that. Regardless of how it looks, whether it's a guy in motion, the guy's not in motion, it doesn't matter. The plays are a lot simpler. The plays are a lot more tailor-made to what the situation calls for. Hey, we need 4 yards. Let's get a 6-yard play in. Boom, guaranteed first down. Keep it moving. That's what I wanted to see from McDaniel. I wanted to see him change his mentality in game when it came to coaching, because I think that that's the next level that he has to achieve as a coach. Flipping the script and not necessarily being, tied down to what you worked on during the week only because you practiced it. And we saw that with Tyreek Hill missing this game, a lot more receivers got to run routes that got looks. Maybe you didn't necessarily got the target, but you got the look when Tua was going through his progression. That shit is important. And it doesn't show up necessarily on the stats, right? But again, when we're talking about how the offense was operating off the running game, those things are important. And that's how it set up the rest of the game to be easily attainable for the win, in my opinion.
Raheem had a record performance that day too.
He did.
Kind of You kind of didn't mention that. I thought you were going to talk about his
Well, think about it.
franchise leading 20 touchdowns this year.
Yeah,
bro.
man. Just goes to show you that he's
and
a
there's still
workhorse.
3 games left, so.
Yeah, dog. But he's a workhorse, Joel.
Do you think he hits 25, dog?
He can.
He can't. It's crazy, right?
I think that he can, if we're being honest. If we see this same level of commitment to the run, especially in the red zone, Joel, where we're 10 yards out and we're running a sweep or we're running an inside draw or something like that, and we're giving Mostert or Achane the opportunities, yeah, we're going to see a lot of rushing touchdowns. And if we're being honest, and we're looking forward towards our next topic, right? It's the future. We got a big game against the Cowboys coming up. What are we going to have to do in that game to be successful? Run the ball. Because the Dallas defensive line is really good. You know? Yeah, they got smashed on and ran all over by Buffalo. Yeah, but that was last week. That shit doesn't count. And guess what? They're not going to come in here and do the same type of thing and just lay down like that. So we're going to have to be a physical team. We're going to have to be a run-dominating team. And if we do that, that gives Mostert plenty of opportunities to break one, dog. He almost broke 3 touchdowns yesterday. There was another one where it was a kind of a toss and he waited before the block was made and then boom, he took off and they brought him down at the 3. And I was like, fuck, he could have had that one. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who can produce in short yardage situations. And when you look at the stats, again, the yardage doesn't blow you away, but the fact that this man got 2 touchdowns running inside the 5-yard line shows you that he can get the job done.
Yep.
And Mike McDaniel has to continue to feed that horse and say, hey, until you prove me otherwise, this is how we're going to try to score in short yardage situations.
Yeah, and not pull a Pete Carroll and throw the ball.
And when it's already burned you before, right? Like, you can't let the same thing burn you over and over again in the NFL, dog. Like, you have to find a way to evolve. And I think McDaniel is doing that.
Yeah, well, that's what we need, especially 3 games left. We keep talking about it, emphasizing it. I mean, this is the most important time. We made it to double digits. Best team we've seen in 30 years, 30 plus years for the Dolphins.
Easy.
Maybe not 30 plus, in 30 years for the Dolphins for sure.
Almost 40.
And we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Whatever that might be for us right now, at least for the most part, I think it's just a playoff victory. And this team is showing the makings of that. Granted, we need to make sure these next 3 games we do something impressive. We got, especially start time with the Cowboys. My question to you is, what we did against the Jets was enough to beat the Jets. I give the Cowboys more credit. They're a better team.
For sure.
We do the same thing, offensively, at least. I don't think it's going to be, enough. As long as our defense can do what they do, that's fine. But I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. They just come off a bad loss. Right. Like you said, the chances of them falling short that, second time in a row like that are slim to none. So expect a fight. Do you see us having Tyreek available for this dogfight?
Yes, because I think we are in playoff mode. And if we're in playoff mode, that means that the red alarm is, blaring and all hands have to be on deck. Armstead played this week. Did you think that we needed Armstead to play against the Jets to beat them? No. We could probably win that game. But guess what? Tua's day was a lot easier. When he connected with Waddle, guess where Armstead was? Pancaking his guy. That gave Tua the time to find Waddle. And even when Mostert scored those touchdowns, both of the times, we were running to the left, like you said, behind Armstead. So I think the guys are aware that everybody has to be contributing maximum potential right now, every play, every game, moving forward. Because we are technically fighting for our playoff lives. And it's like, whoa, SoSo, how the fuck? We're 10-4. Yeah, we're 10-4, and we're very likely to make the playoffs. But making the playoffs isn't the goal, right? It's exceeding in the playoffs. Doing well.
We got to win the playoffs.
We got to win. How do we give ourselves the best chance? Play at home. Host that playoff game, right? Hopefully you can do it twice before you get to an AFC championship matchup. That's where I think the Dolphins' success lies this season. Getting that win off a home field game. Not to say I don't feel confident on this team being on the road. I do. But I feel much more confident with this team playing at home, i.e. against the Cowboys. So when we look up how we're going to beat the Cowboys, Yeah, Tyreek Hill has to play because we need that over-the-top threat to free up some of the guys that can run the ball. And then when we have that chance, boom, let's hit them over the top. I think that this game against the Jets was important for this Cowboys game in the sense that Waddle popped off. And Dallas has to say, fuck, man. Waddle's in a rhythm. This dude can smell a 1,000-yard season yet again. Tyreek Hill is dying to come back and put up 200 to make up for that last game that he missed. We better be on our P's and Q's. And guess what? They're not going to be able to cover both guys. So if we can run the ball and exploit those two guys, I can feel comfortable saying that we'll have an easy time putting up points, or not an easy time, but plenty of opportunities to put up points on the Cowboys defense. As great as they are, they haven't been excellent.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it this week against Buffalo. So that's what I hope, man. Honestly, that's what I want. I want that win. I want that seal, bro. I want to be official. I feel like we don't have that this year. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a Christmas Eve game, primetime, right?
4 losses. We lost to the Chiefs. We lost to the Bills. We lost to, I know the Titans was the most recent one.
Correct.
Who's the fourth I'm missing out here?
You don't want to guess? One more time?
Man.
Philadelphia.
The Eagles. The Titans one was the only one that was quote unquote horseshit. You know what I mean? Like that game was ridiculous. We should be 11-3 right now. But it is what it is. We lost that game. This is, besides those, those 3 bigger losses out of those 4, this is the biggest game of our season, hands down, right here against the Cowboys. Prime time, once again.
For sure. 425, but still.
Against an opponent with a winning record, once again.
Yeah.
A team that kind of mirrors you a little bit,
Right.
Fundamentally sound on defense, have a lot of great pieces on defense, great D-line, right? Offensively, you got some great pieces. You got some good skill players.
Talent.
You got a good quarterback, good run O-line, good running backs. You know what I mean? Like very, very similar teams. So I hope that we are the team at the end of the day that is holding up the winning trophy.
Extremely similar, right? Even with our woes in December, right? We've seen Dallas teams be really good throughout the season. I guess to December, games they got to win, and they come out flat. Whether it's on the Romo, on the Dak, we've seen them have those failures, let's say.
We need one of those from them.
Well, no, not necessarily that, Joel. We need more of a performance of our type of caliber for this team. Because this team is extremely talented, dog. There's no way we're this good on offense and this good on defense. If we're talking about a top 3 offense and a top 5 defense, dog, that's just a recipe for success in the NFL. Like, you're going to go far. Dolphins have to prove that, though, right? And it starts with winning these type of big games. And not saying that beating Dallas is going to get us over the hump and everything else is solved.
Oh, but that gives us the confidence heading into 2 playoff type games before the season ends.
Confidence and just pace. That's all the Dolphins have to be worried about right now as an organization. Let's build our confidence. Let's keep the pace. We got a matchup against Baltimore. So if we keep the pace, right, and we play up to these standards, we should have a good, healthy shot of competing to win that Baltimore game. Same thing with this game. Same thing with that Buffalo game. That's why I say we have to treat these like a playoff. We have to have a playoff mentality. All hands on deck. Best performances. I said it on OnlyFans. Peep the shirt. No turnovers was huge. No fumbles, no interceptions. Huge. That's confidence, right? Keep throwing it. We're going to be secure. That's that confidence I want to see, man. Christmas Eve, bro.
We got to protect Tua, man. We can protect him. If he's not rushed, he can go through his progressions, make the right decision. If they're in his face, bro, and he gets that quick indecisive trigger, and where he's throwing it up, that could be bad for us. But
absolutely,
I think my boy's gonna have a good game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Tua and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are really gonna have good days. I think those guys are gonna have real good days. Before this loss, the Cowboys had won 5 in a row. They beat the Giants, Panthers, Commanders, Seahawks, and Philadelphia, a team that we lost to before getting their asses kicked in Buffalo. Let's see. What type of team are we going to have? A team that wants to fight. Are the Dolphins a team that can be physical? We're going to find out Christmas Eve. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one.
Noche buena.
And of course, we're going to bring you the recap on OnlyFans. Holla at your boy. We're going to make Joel rock the same dope ass fucking windbreaker.
I'm not taking this off to the end of the season.
Until the game?
Till the end of the season, dog. I mean, I'm going to keep it on.
All right. Maybe reconsider that.
No.
Just think about it. Think about it.
Nope. I'm good.
All right, cool. Let's move on over to the Miami Heat. That's classic, dog.
I like that.
That's classic.
I like that.
And I'm an old school Heat fan, dog.
It's
and
I wish we had a soundboard
to keep that. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, right? And again, this is not a who's who of who they're beating and the way that they're winning. Ugly wins, come from behind wins, but they're wins. And for this Heat team that's playing without Bam for a long stretch, right? That had played without Tyler Hero for a long stretch, just winning games is more than enough.
Of course.
And when you break down the Miami Heat and their struggles, it's offense, right? It's always offense. The offense is either really good and then boom, it goes cold. And the times that we can rely on our defense, right? We've been able to eke out a couple of games. But when the offense is flowing well, we've seen us have better performances, more confident type wins. We started that with getting the back-to-back wins against Charlotte, right? Got back-to-back wins against Charlotte, something that we said we needed to do, knowing that Charlotte is at the bottom of the East.
They're so bad.
They're struggling right now.
They're not
really
the worst.
They're not the worst.
They're not doing really hot right
Pistons.
now. LaMelo's doing great, man. You know, he's putting up points. I think he had a streak of 30-plus points and stuff, but they're still missing a few pieces.
They're missing a lot. They're missing a lot. And I don't think that team has direction. You know what I mean? Like organizationally. Yeah. They don't have that type of direction. So the Heat have to go out there and put in that business, right? And get those 2 dubs. Check. Cool. Beat bad teams when you're supposed to. Help yourself out.
Especially on the road. Those help pad the stats.
Exactly.
Those road stats.
Exactly. So you win the road one, come home, win that home one, and it's like, all right, let's go against this game against Chicago, another struggling team in the East that we know we have better talent than. They're missing Zach LaVine right now. He's not playing. And that first game, bro, we didn't even really show up to Chicago. You know, we let them give us a 33-8 run to start the game. And when I saw that, I was like, yo, not to say that this game was completely over, but they're not playing with that same energy.
I mean, 33-8 run.
Yeah.
In the first, that's not reassuring that you're going to get back in the game.
And like I said, the struggles are on offense. When we have those lows, and it's not even lows, it's just long stretches of period, right? Where the Heat offense can either find a good shot attempt, right? Where it's pass, a frantic drive, contested shot, or it's an opportunity miss. Somebody gets to the rim and actually misses the layup. Wide open 3, misses the 3. Wide open shot, misses the shot. And it just happens to compile for the Heat on offense. And a lot of that has to do because we don't have Bam. We don't have Tyler Hero. But for everybody who said, Tyler Hero's not that important to this team, mate, look how much we're winning. Bullshit. You need a guy who's going to put up 20-something points in whatever fashion. You need a guy who's going to put up 20-something points in this NBA. Because in that game that we lost to Chicago, we struggled mightily on offense. Our field goal percentage was low. Our free throw percentage was bad. Like everything on offense struggled. And then boom, that next game, Saturday night, the one that I went to against Chicago, right? The second of the home and home. Off rip, first quarter, he come out shooting the lights out. More specifically, Kevin Love. He had 4 threes, had 12 points in the first quarter.
Which is unheard of. I mean,
obviously, right? But if you think back to Kevin Love, this was the for real fantasy basketball number 1 guy that you had to pick every year because he was a 20-20 guy.
Sure.
Shooting threes.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? When he came into the league with Minnesota. But this, when Kevin Love is giving you that energy where, hey guys, we're going to lock it down. This is the offensive output. Here it is. Feed off my energy. That's awesome because you're not going to get that every night. And the rest of the team did feed off of that. More specifically, Josh Richardson. He went in there, had a good game. Jaime Jaquez, dog. I got a lot of words to say about that guy. Sidebar, right because he needs a big sidebar. He's going to get a lot of love from SoSo.
Kid is playing out of his fucking mind.
Dog, Dog.
And he's a big part. I know that, you've been doing your thing talking about everything, but I mean, you should have led this whole segment off with 3 words. Jaime Jaquez Jr.
I'm saving the best for last. And remember this. This is the closeness. Remember how much this closeness was, okay? To end the point with the Chicago game on Saturday night, our offense was great all 3 quarters. Very efficient. And then, like I mentioned to you when we were doing the pre-show talk, in the last 7 minutes, I told my girl, watch this. Chicago's about to come back because the Heat are going to struggle on offense. And sure enough, we went 3 minutes with only 2 made baskets, which is 3 minutes court time, right? Because the minute went from like 6:30 something down to which is 15 minutes.
10 minutes in the stadium.
Right? Of real life time, right? So we went like 15 minutes of real life where we're struggling without seeing a basket. And meanwhile, Chicago's coming back and shooting the lights out while we're playing good defense, right? And then again, the offense finds its way. We get to force baskets because they're not pretty offensive sets. It's a cut here, a Jimmy here, foul by Jimmy, free throw line, cool. Breakaway off a steal, cool. And that's how we got back into that game. And then we get down to the game winner, right? Good defensive play on the end. You guys saw it on the Sports with SoSo Instagram feed. Jimmy they get that rebound. I think it was Jaquez or Highsmith who got the rebound. And then, boom, we give the ball to Jimmy. Time's running down, 12 seconds. And you know what he was going to try to do. He was going to try to get to the elbow and hit the game-winning shot, not leave any time, right? And we were already tied at that point. And sure enough, Jimmy did his thing. Boom, knocked down the shot, finished his great night. He played really well that night, right?
Yeah, 28 points that night. One of the better nights that he's had offensively in the last
in a long
weeks.
Time. And how he did it, right? Being efficient, more or less, Joel. Excuse me. When you're 9 of 18, 50% from the field, and only miss 1 free throw, that's a great offensive output from our star guy, right? And we hadn't gotten that in like at least the last week and a half.
Not from Jimmy.
Not from Jimmy. Not that efficient. My bad.
He's been underwhelming. No, that's all I wanted to say. Like Jimmy's my guy. He's everybody's guy, Yep. But we've talked about it already on the show in previous episodes. You know, the idea that he himself is holding himself back or possibly saving himself because he knows he just has to get into the playoffs. Doesn't matter what seed, just get in and he's going to find a way to make it to the end.
For sure. And look, I guess he's comfortable with eking out these wins, but I don't know how sustainable that is for the long run. And the long run being the next month and a half until we get to February and see what the trade deadline looks like, right? Because you also have to think about in terms of trade is where's our positioning? Who are the other teams that we're going to target that may be available that might have a player here? What's it going to cost us? Is it going to be cheaper if we're in the 5th, or if we're in the 3rd, it might cost us less because they're willing to work with us or whatever. Those are things that you have to consider. And it starts now. How many games can we win? For the Heat to be 15-11, right? And still being decent at home, 7-5, not really good. You got to wonder, even against these inferior opponents, when is the consistency going to come? How is the consistency going to come?
Well, we got some good news, my friend.
Hopefully
we get a little more consistent coming up with the return of our, I would say, 2 other superstars aside from Jimmy.
Alexa, play Return of the Back. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Come on, dog. Come on. I'm just killing it with the music reference. But yeah, having Bam back is going to be huge. More defensively for Bam. But for me, Tyler Hero's role on this team is immense. Because for as good as Duncan Robinson has been so far this season, as good as Josh Richardson, Kevin Love, Caleb Martin has been playing really well. He was 6 of 8 that Saturday game, 5 of 6 from free throw line. As good as those other guys have been performing on offense, it's not that, full, hey, let me fill up this bucket with points. That's what Tyler Hero gives us. It's efficient or not. We know that Jimmy's not going to be that scoring guy. We know that. So we need to have a scoring guy. And Tyler Hero's that guy, dog. And if you notice, we were reaching 120, 130 points regularly in the beginning of the season with Tyler in the lineup. And Jimmy missing games, right? Yeah, it was Tyler and Bam, but Jimmy was missing those games. Right. And Tyler was still putting up those big performances. So him coming back is our biggest asset. That's almost like getting a trade for a 20-plus point score. That's really what we're getting here with the returner Hero. And I just hope that it sparks this offense to not have those, like I said, periods of time where we're going 10, 8 minutes without scoring.
The runs, bro. The runs, you know, when they go 11-0 run, 13-0 run, 14-1 run. Like, dog, we can't do that to start anything. To start the game, to start the second half, to start the fourth quarter. Like, that's what kills us, bro. We got, this momentum. And I think we're gonna be in a better spot now because we've been managing to get by without our main guys, and we're finally gonna have a full, complete team, hopefully. And on top of that, you got a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. I'm hoping, that's my only concern is, getting Bam back, getting Hero back. What does that do for Jaime's minutes? Obviously, he's going to still continue to come off the bench as he's doing right now. So it shouldn't be too bad. But, is it going to mean less touches for the kid? Does he pick up more rebounds, instead of points? You're going to see a little bit of trade-off or whatnot. But regardless of what it is, I'm comfortable with him on the court with Jimmy, Bam, and Hero.
Absolutely. And this is the highest praise that I can give this kid. He is our X factor. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is the X factor for this Miami Heat team. It's not Bam. It's not Jimmy. It's not Hero. We know what they can do. We know what the team is depending on them for do. They have their job. The guy who's making a difference on this Miami Heat team is Jaime Jaquez, because he's doing it in every single facet of this basketball game that is played. He's doing it defensively. He's doing it offensively. He's doing it with hustle. He's doing it with knowledge. He's doing it with being a nuisance. He's doing it being a good teammate, defensively responsible. This kid was covering the Andre Drummond on switches for a little bit. Andre Drummond is 7 feet, 300-something pounds. That's the center. Used to be for the Clippers. He put a bunch on a punch.
Drummond's still in the league?
Still in the league, dog. And he was dominating that game. He had like 12 points and fucking 8 rebounds. Killing us with his big ass. And Hawkins was still D'ing him up. Hawkins was still D'ing up Vujovic. D'ing up DeMar DeRozan. If they put a switch on him and he was going against Kobe, he was all up in Kobe. All over Patrice. All over those guys. Had breakaway dunks, breakaway steals, finding other teammates in transition, making the right pass, not getting the assist, but just flowing the game for the Heat.
Yeah, maybe getting the hockey assist, maybe setting the right pass that's going to set up to the main pass. Just having the awareness of what his role is, and he's just making the most out of it, dog. Very, very little mistakes. You know what I mean? Like if Tyler Hero comes back, which my concern with Tyler Hero is the turnovers and the mistakes. If he comes back and is able to contain himself and be as responsible as Jaquez has been in his short time with the Heat, I think we're going to be a real good spot.
I don't know if we can depend on that, right? Because Hero is who he is. But what that makes Jaquez is more indispensable because you want him on the floor with a guy like Tyler Hero. He's the ultimate eraser. You make a bad pass, this guy's going to hustle back and probably make that block. Or at least get the foul and not let the guy go up. That's what Hawkins does. And something that Spo has harped on before, especially during the Big Three era, was positionless basketball. You don't have a fucking role. Your role is to do whatever is required of you at that moment on the floor. If it's to cover the role, cover the role. If it's to go with the pick, go with the pick. If it's to call it out and box out the guy, do it. You're not a center. You're not a small forward, quote unquote. You're going to do whatever the hell is needed for the team. Hawkins plays like that, dog.
Yeah.
And you can see it, dog. You're like, you don't even have to have basketball IQ to be like, yo, that guy's fucking hustling, dog. I put it to my girl like this so she could understand. I said my girl, my wife. I put it to her like this. I was like, those guys that when you watch a basketball game and a high school game that he's just straight hustling, maybe not the best, but he's just going to be hustling, nonstop balling. That's Hawkins. And when you have that guy on your team, you love him. And when you're playing against him, you hate that guy.
Very UD-esque.
Extremely. And this close, remember I told you about this close? That's how close I was to buying a fucking Hawkins jersey, dog.
Damn.
Had it in my hand. And I was like...
That close? That close?
Cuz. That close.
Pretty close, dog.
That's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I wish it would have happened. It would have been lit.
Because I know what this kid embodies, dog. Like, we say heat culture and we talk about it and all that shit. Like, this dude is showing you what heat culture is about. And if he's not your favorite player right now, keep watching this kid.
He's killing it.
He's going to be your favorite player by the end of the season, without a doubt.
Absolutely killing it.
And they got a good little run of games coming up too, man. We got a tough test tonight. While we record, we're going to play Minnesota. So we'll let you guys know who won on IG after that. Hopefully we're getting that pizza mañana. Minnesota's a good team on the road. Like I mentioned earlier last week, they're a team that's on top of the West, really outperforming themselves, right? As far as our roster goes.
I remember we spoke about it last week.
Yeah. And then we got to head up the road for a quick trip to Orlando on Wednesday night before we come back home to play Atlanta on Friday night.
Can't sleep on Orlando either, dog. No. Orlando's playing pretty good this year.
That's a rival, cuz.
Paolo's playing good and Anthony and all that. They're playing good. They're good. They got a good team.
And that's a rival. Team. That's a rival. In-state rival.
In-state rival.
Yeah. And then Christmas Day, man, playing Philadelphia at 8 o'clock.
Hey,
that's
we're
cool.
back to Christmas Day.
Finally got one, dog. Finally. You know what I mean? And then I think we deserve it.
Against the Sixers, that's a good one.
That's a good little matchup.
Good matchup.
They're not playing that great.
We just need to make sure Bam and Hero are playing that day.
Yes. That'll make it better. And I think that's why they're bringing them back tonight to kind of like ease them into the minutes for these next 3 games coming up and then have them full ready to go by Christmas Day. And then go out there and put a good performance. National TV, 8 o'clock. Just a ton of fucking Miami sports this weekend, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Sunday night we have the Dolphins on prime time, and then Monday night we have the Heat.
4:30.
That's prime time to me.
That's prime time to me because you're the national game. You're the Fox game. Yeah. Everybody's going to be watching that.
And then Monday we have the Heat.
Yep. Let's drop the puck on the Panthers real quick. Oof. Nice little transition there.
Ayo.
Those guys are struggling right now on that Canadian tour,
doing
dog.
too hot.
Not doing so hot, dog. And you know shit was bad when you lost 5-0 to Seattle, dog.
Yeah, well,
that's when I was like, whoa.
What happened?
What's going on here?
What happened there?
Bro, you know, we were battling in that game, right? Because we went down early to Seattle, and then I was like, all right, that's not too bad. You know, Seattle's a feisty team. They're playing on home. They usually play better on home ice. And then all of a sudden, a fucking onslaught, dog, in the third period, bro. They got 3 goals. And including empty netter. So, like, yeah, we were already trying to score, and these guys fucking launched him from far to hit that. But it was more about the performance from the Panthers. The fact that they couldn't get any type of shots off, dog. And yeah, they hit shots. I think they only had like 28 shots, but that's not hockey, Panthers hockey at all, dog. This is a team who's normally up in that 35 to 40 range when you're talking about shots on goal. And for this team to struggle that bad against Seattle was
anybody out?
No, dude.
Full force?
Full
the whole
force.
Squad?
Everybody.
Yikes. Is that the first game of the road trip?
Second game of the road trip.
So you can't even call it that.
Nah.
I'm looking for an excuse, so help me out here.
There's no excuse, dog, because for the Panthers, right? Like, for the Panthers, they can't be that excuse. They have to be a team that performs against worse teams, like these other teams we were talking about on the podcast. Like, you got to beat the bad teams when you face them. And it doesn't have to be a great resounding win, but what you can't have is performances like this, right? Where you lose 4-0, off of win, where you could have made it 4 wins in a row, right? Against a quote unquote inferior opponent. And then you back that up with another 4-0 loss up in Vancouver, where you didn't even show up as a team. And that was evident because we gave up those 4 goals in those first 2 periods, 2 in the first and 2 in the second. And then they just cruised to victory the rest of this game.
Compounding.
It's compounding the mistakes against bad teams. And you know it's bad when the coach has to come out and say, I'm going to take the blame for this loss. We didn't have any effort. We didn't have any energy. These guys did not bring it. Vancouver wanted it more, and they got it handedly. And again, we're talking about professional sports, right? Where everybody knows they have a job. You're getting paid a salary to come up with the effort to win as many games as possible, right? It can't be just coaching. At some point, the physical act of performing has to happen on the ice. And for the guys to give up back-to-back shutouts, dog, on the road, it was a little bit troubling. That's not what you want to see, bro. I mean, it's early on in the season, but the road, man, the road has always been kind of our kryptonite, dog, especially, we always talk about, all right, you know what? You're going to go out and getting your teeth kicked in and get a reality check. It's fine every once in a while, beginning of the season, whatever. But when you go 2 straight games getting your teeth kicked in,
it raises eyebrows. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Wasn't this a team that was in the Stanley Cup Finals this year? How did they just lose back-to-back games by, 8, 9 total goals? And again, two teams that, they could have beat.
Easily.
Granted, they were on the road playing them, but they could have beat both of these teams. So
easily.
That's not what you want to see. But you talk about the bounce back.
Yes, but just to show you how the effort matters. In that Vancouver game, they had 18 shots on goal. Walked away with 4 goals. Crazy, right? Now, we get into that next game where we do get that bounce back win, 5-1 over the Edmonton Oilers. And guess how many shots we had that game?
Shots on goal. Say 35.
All right. We had a total of 38. So not too bad. 39, excuse me.
I was close.
They also had 39. Much better. They also had 39 shots on goal. But we only gave up 1 goal. That's the effort. Right? Because there's no way that you're facing less and putting up the same effort and giving up more goals. That's just mathematically not possible. You put in a better effort on the ice, withstood all of those shots that you guys could, and came up with a 5-1 victory. That's an effort win. Because you were withstanding the barrage and still had the wherewithal to put up goals, to defend as a team, clear power plays, all of that. That type of effort has to happen every night for this Panthers team. They are talented, but they are not experienced enough when it comes to winning automatically, let's say. Right? They're not experienced enough when it comes to just saying, this is a good team. Maybe we only need to give 75% effort. They're not there yet. As a franchise, they're not there yet because we've seen them when they're fighting for their lives, have no choice but to give it 110%. They can put up amazing performances and go on amazing playoff runs, right? But realistically speaking, you can't give 110% every single day. Can't do that. You have to find ways to win games when you're not at your best. Those 4-0 back-to-back 4-0 losses was the Panthers at their absolute worst. The bounce back was nice because that's them at their absolute best. What we need to see is an above average mean for the Panthers in order for them to achieve what I think would be success for them. Boston is having a great year. It's going to be hard to catch these guys because the Panthers were going to have a great run, just like the Boston did to start the season, right? I think they had won 13 out of their first 15 games or some shit like that and continue to win games night in, night out. So, yeah, if you're a Panthers fan and you're looking at the standing, and you're like, damn, dog, Toronto's right there tied with points with us. Boston's not losing. They continue to build their lead. They're really close to 50 points with 43 points. How are we going to get close to that? How are we going to keep the pace? You have to win. You have to win those ugly games.
Yep.
However, and as a fan, we're not going to fault you for winning ugly. Just like we're not going to overly praise you for winning big or winning pretty. You got to find that healthy mean where you're able to win games consistently, And I think that this Panthers team has to get back to that consistency. We need to see the consistency come out in the form of 3 to 4 to 5 game winning streaks. Lose 1 or 2 here and there, but then you get back to another 3 to 4 to 5 game winning streak. I think that's how the Panthers have, achieved their greatest successes as a franchise. And even more recently, like I said, in their latest playoff run, it's because they were playing with that all or nothing mentality. That may be hard to sustain over an entire season, but the effort, of being above average should be attainable for the rest of the season.
Should be, in theory, but again, road games, dog. Those road games
suck.
That's right. And the extended road trips, bro. They did a tour in Canada. They were out there, and then they don't even come home yet. They stay on the road, so it's not that easy, bro. If they come out of this road trip 500, I think that's the expectation right now. We got to win these next couple, so that we can finish up 500.
Gotta win tonight at Calgary, without a doubt. Gotta get that game. They come home for 2 games, facing the Blues on Thursday, and then take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights, on Friday. But then they get a nice little break before, to enjoy Christmas before they come back Wednesday, December 27th. But I think that for the consistency for them is just, like I said, man, beat the teams that you can beat. Doesn't have to be pretty. They're not going to be all 5-1, 4-0, you know, but win those games because ultimately that's where their success lies. And even this season, they've been somewhat average, right? 9-4 at home, 9-6 on away. Yeah, you're above 500 in both, which is good to be in that race. But if you're talking about keeping the pace, you got to be much better at home, and you have to take more advantages of those winnable games on the road, right? Because now when we bounce back to that second half of the season, it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot more games that you're going to be tough opponents fighting for positioning.
We got to definitely be better at home.
Absolutely, man. Let's see if the Panthers can step up and put a little win streak together here. Let's do the honorable mentions before we get out of here, dog. UFC 296. Leon Edwards beat the dog shit out of Colby Covington for the welterweight title.
Did he beat the dog shit out of him, or did he just do enough to get the decision?
I think that he was
Colby
dominant.
Was standing up and looked like he won at the end of that fight.
But that's just Colby's bravado.
I'm sure, I know that, but
right?
if you beat the dog shit out of him, that guy's not standing up. Like, I think of what Khabib did. Khabib did to McGregor. Like, McGregor wasn't standing up after that fight. You know
for sure. No, that's
like he beat the dog shit out of that guy.
I get it. Maybe that's fair. Could walk it back, but he beat down Colby for sure because he out-punched him for sure, outstruck him when it came to significant strikes, and even endured some of the leg kicks that Colby was trying to put, and it really didn't affect Leon at all. Anytime he got to a scramble or wrestling, Leon ended up with the better positioning most of the time. So I think that ring rust had a lot to do with Colby's, conditioning, his sharpness, his execution, and even his ability to push the pace. I remember Joe Rogan asked him, like, bro, usually we see you much more energetic. Like, what happened? He's like, I tried, to do this and that. Gave his little excuse, but it's just that ring rust, man. When you don't fight for that long, and then you go in there against a guy who's fought 4 times in the last, 16 months,
right?
You're going to look bad, dog. And Colby looked bad.
So what is that? His 4th title defense?
Fourth title defense, man. 3rd. You're right. 3rd title defense.
He won the title, and then he's had 3 fights since. So 3, yeah. Wow. It's impressive, man.
Riding that win streak, like I told you, boy.
It's impressive what he's been able to do.
Yep. And look, the guy who won on the undercard that day too, the dude from Dagestan, Rob Makhachev, something like that. He won. He thinks that he should be in line, and he looked fucking dominant in his performance too. Fucked Steve Thompson up, man. Fucked him up.
Wonder Boy got lit up.
Fucked him up.
Jack Black couldn't help you there, homie.
Absolutely not, dog.
We also saw in that fight Tony Ferguson he got beat down by Paddy the Baddie.
Yeah.
David Goggins couldn't save him.
Dude, hang it up. We get it. You're a warrior, dog.
It's over.
But you're talking about an 18-year to 20-year age gap, dog, against the guys.
7 straight L's?
7 straight losses, dog.
Like, come on, Dana. You can't keep doing this to the guy. Like, just stop giving him fights.
Help him out, dog. Give him a nice little retirement check. Put him as a coach or something.
This was it. Like, you got paid for that fight, homie.
Yeah.
Stop, bro. Stop.
I'm going to call your mom.
Bro, the guy that was a top-level guy, bro.
Just a
couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Like, it's like, bro, you can't fight with these guys no more.
That's the MMA game, bro. Yeah. These dudes are getting much better at a much younger rate, dog. So, yeah. Salute to Tony Ferguson. Hell of a career, but you can't continue to take damage like that, bro. It's tough to see. It really is.
Good win for Paddy.
Yeah. Not tough to see was Tiger and Charlie this weekend on the PNC Championship. That was fun, man.
And they still didn't win it, though, man.
No, but it was
Charlie's
fun.
Looking good.
Saw Tiger hit the driver off the deck. Charlie giving him shit for it.
We saw Charlie chip in.
Yes.
That was a good moment, too.
That was cool,
he had
man.
his daughter out there. Tiger had his daughter out there. So, like, I love that, man, because, like, it's like a whole family affair. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully that rejuvenates the big cat, and he has fun again and he feels like a kid again or something, and he goes out there and wins fucking all 4 majors next year.
I think that's a little bit of John Daly rubbing off on him, you know what I'm saying? Because he sees like John Daly and his son having a good time and they both play well, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you can have fun, dog, like we were talking about earlier. You can have fun playing golf and enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd love to see the big cat back in action.
Absolutely, dog. And then to wrap up the show, last but not least, my dog, Lorenzo, the Giant Killer Medina. Woo! With the TKO knockout, baby, in the 6th round.
Impressive.
Yeah, buddy, doing the cha-cha slide.
It was impressive.
Cha-cha, real smooth.
It's impressive how that kid can move, bro. How big he is and how well he moves.
And I was telling John, dog, like he's not like super tall, But when you see him in person, it's like, yeah, this dude's way thicker than what I think he would be, right? You think that he's like 190 pounds, and like, fuck you, dog. That guy's 215, 220, solid muscle, baby.
Bro.
And super big. Fast, dog. Super fast, lightning quick. And I saw a post that Kevin Gleason put up. Shout out to Kev, man, who's one of his trainers, how his head movement is. For somebody that young to have that good head movement. And it shows that James Toney is his favorite fighter, dog. When we interviewed him, great interview, go check it out. That he really pays attention to the school of boxing. You know what I mean? He's not just out there throwing punches to knock guys out or to hurt people. This dude is really studying his opponents, studying what's happening within the fight, and finding and executing a game plan to put people away, dog. And at the heavyweight division, that's impressive, especially at his young age. Fighting on the zone, on the MVP promotions, on Jake Paul card, like that's huge, man. That's huge for that kid, and I'm very excited for his future, bro. Shout out to Lorenzo, dog. Keep it up,
man. That was a big one for him.
Yeah, man. But you know what? We got to go watch that Heat game, dog. So it's time to tell a friend, to tell another friend
that we're sorry you missed the fantasy playoffs.
Absolutely. But not sorry that you didn't miss out on OnlyFans. We've been telling you guys.
Go tune in, man. Go
tune in. Drop that comment or comment on one of the comments. There's a lot of spice out there. But let us know what you guys think of those episodes, man. And until next time, peace.